Today's book is The Sovereign Individual by James Davidson and Lord William Rees-Mogg. The main idea here is that we are experiencing a profound technological revolution that is shattering the dominance of the nation states, and it is creating a new meritocratic reality. My name is Arata. Now we're back with the Arata Academy Summary Series, but this time without the green screen, without the special effects. We're just gonna be walking around here in Tokyo. We're gonna have a simple conversation, just you and me. And I want to share here, explain clearly why this book is so important and how it can help you live a better life. Basically, the world is changing. Are you ready to change with it? We're now transitioning from the industrial age to the information society. And this is not just a minor upgrade. This is completely reshaping how our society works, the power structures, how violence works, politics. And the information age rewards those who are able and willing to develop their minds, to learn how to use digital tools, how to strategically position themselves in a borderless world, creating unprecedented leverage for the sovereign individual for wealth creation. You see that history does not repeat itself, but it certainly rhymes. And throughout history, significant changes have repeatedly reshaped how our world is presented to us. There are thinkers like Isaac Newton, Nostradamus, and Carl Jung. They all predicted major transformations to happen right now, around the year 2000. And Danny Hills explained this, looking at graphs of population and technology advancement, saying that everything, all the changes, they're rapidly converging toward a moment, a special moment called the singularity. And at this point, everything changes dramatically. The future belongs to the people who are location independent. Human society moves through different stages. First, we had the hunter-gatherers, and then we had farming, allowing the agricultural society, and then later we had industrialization, reshaping the society completely once again. Now we're going to a fourth stage. This is the information society. And in this stage, physical location matters less and less. You can basically work anywhere, you can live anywhere, you can interact remotely. It doesn't really matter. Your asset is not your land. Your asset is about your skills, your knowledge. And technological change drives societal reorganization. So you have to position yourself for this type of transition by developing location-independent skills. You have to have multiple sources of income. Are you doing this? Are you building your digital literacy? Are you learning things? Are you having cybersecurity skills? You see, what's happening right now is money is increasingly digital. Your wealth is more and more digital. Your assets are about what you know. But that's information, that is digital as well. So you need to have a way to protect your assets with encryption. You have to protect your digital practices. Take the time to learn and understand Bitcoin. Bitcoin represents a critical tool in this new economy. You can go to the link arata.se/diamond hands and you can learn more. Back in the day, you had castles and armies, right? Forget about that. Power now flows through information. And this new age fundamentally changes how power works. Historically, power came from people who were able to control land, and for that you needed violence, you needed armies. Now it's about controlling information. Mastering your digital skills is more valuable than having land and armies. Large-scale violence is less and less profitable, and cybercrime and small-scale violence will increase as governments are losing centralized control. All of this makes personal security very, very important. Have you thought about that? About improving your security, about improving your communication? What to do in case of a social unrest? Do you have a trusted group of people who you can rely on? Nation states are fading, and your future demands independent thinking. Politicians and bureaucrats will also lose relevance. The collapse of communism already signaled that the nation-state model itself is becoming outdated. There is a similar shift happening at the time when gunpowder arrived, and it ended feudalism by making the power of the feudal lords and the church less relevant. And today, the information revolution is undermining the nation states. The old institutions become irrelevant when their foundations crumble. So, understanding all of this, these historical parallels will help you a lot to see all the returns that you have on investing on your personal development and having independent thinking. All of this is amplifying what before was more difficult during the time that the geography was constraining us in our industrialized past. Now, the new elite will not be inheriting their power, they're gonna make it, they're gonna create it. As these nation states are becoming more and more weak, a new type of person emerges. And that's the title of the book, The Sovereign Individual. What is that? What is the sovereign individual? Well, that's an individual who operates independently from governments, earning wealth primarily through their ideas, their skills, their intellectual capital. It is different from previous eras where your birth or your political connections were determining your outcomes. Now, true meritocracy is emerging. The new cyber economy creates immense opportunities for the people who deliberately cultivate valuable skills, people who embrace jurisdictional arbitrage, choosing where they go, where they do stuff, and they leverage technological changes. My tip is don't rely on just one job. You have to rely on yourself. You can become a sovereign individual by learning, by developing valuable skills that are not bound by geography, by politics. For example, you can be learning how to do your work anywhere. You can prepare yourself for non-permanent employment, because the traditional lifetime employment idea, this already disappeared. My question is for you, have you built a diverse portfolio of skills, different sources of income, instead of having just that one job? Increasing your personal mobility and keeping your options open for relocation will allow you to better respond to changing conditions that we have in society. And of course, governments will fight back all of this, but the real power is already yours. Cyberspace has become an economic frontier beyond the borders of government controls. And soon the cyber economy could become basically the largest economy on the planet. Governments will struggle and they'll try to regulate businesses, they'll try to collect their taxes. Traditional revenue from taxes will vanish online. It will force the nation states into a financial desperation. Historically, desperate governments will use violence, they'll use harsh measures to maintain control. And you need to prepare for how this world is going to be of unrest, of instability. We already see this in many places. You know what I'm talking about, right? So what are you doing? Are you actively positioning yourself to thrive despite all these disruptions? Now, another question, where you live. This matters less. What you do matters more. You can prepare for jurisdictional competition. What do I mean by that? Is that governments will soon compete openly for productive people like you, just like businesses compete for customers. Are you evaluating your options for your residence, for your citizenship, or where to keep your money, your asset allocation, so you maximize your benefits? Understanding the economics of location will help you to take advantage, to leverage all of this competition that is already existing. Physical location matters less in the digital economy. It will allow you to strategically position yourself in the best places, in the tax-advantaged jurisdictions. And this brings us to inflation. Inflation is not just prices that are rising, it is the government silently robbing you. Historically, governments controlled economies through inflation. They were secretly eroding your savings. It was the perfect crime. Now today, encrypted digital currencies you know, Bitcoin, governments are no longer able to be inflating the monetary base. So that power is becoming weaker. This is creating chaos. This is allowing non-state groups, organized crime, rogue agencies to gain influence. That's another thing that is happening right now. And protecting your assets from currency inflation, currency manipulation, this is crucial. Government inflation basically is wealth confiscation. So what you need is an inflation-resistant money, Bitcoin, precious metals. This is the way for you to protect your savings. Are you prepared for this volatility, this economic volatility? What is the best strategy, tax-wise? You have to choose. Choose where you pay your tax. Because power will fragment. Just like in the medieval times, the Europe's unclear borders, there were overlapping authorities, sovereignty is becoming competitive. Jurisdictions are fighting for you, for your business. They want you to be there. They will be offering you, come here, come live here, buy land here, buy a house here, we're gonna give you a passport. So this all makes your choices more efficient. And understanding small differences in tax rates will create really big differences in wealth over time. You can structure your investments carefully so you minimize your taxes, of course, in a legal way. Have you started exploring jurisdictions that offer better benefits for you, for your business, for your lifestyle, for your investments? Back in the day, there was this thing, the Luddites, and the Luddites lost. Don't be on the wrong side of history. What are the Luddites? You probably know what I'm talking about, right? The Luddites, they were groups of English textile workers in the early 19th century, and they're really opposed to technological change. During the Industrial Revolution, they thought that the machinery was threatening their jobs and their livelihood. So they're protesting, and they decided to start to smashing these machines, industrial equipment, saying that, okay, we're going to destroy all the machines to stop the change from happening. And of course, they lost. And now the term Luddites is used to describe anybody who is against technological advancement. People who want things to stay the way they used to be. They prefer the old methods, the old structures, even though change is inevitable. It is inevitable. And of course, their fears are understandable, but history shows that fighting innovation is not a good idea. It rarely succeeds. Things eventually change in society, whether people want it or not, whether they are ready for it or not. And many people will resist all the technological shift that we're talking about here, especially people who are currently benefiting from government redistribution programs. And these modern day Luddites, you know, there are people who are really against technological progress. They're trying to cling to the way things used to be, and you can expect a lot of nationalist backlash and a lot of political instability during these times of changes. So once again, what are you doing about this? Do you have a strong professional network? Do you have people who hold your back? Do you have ways to protect your money when these financial institutions might crumble? Security is not optional, it is essential. Your future depends on becoming a sovereign individual yourself. And this means protecting your assets with digital tools, with Bitcoin, protecting your communications. Instead of having some account only on centralized databases, you can use Nostr, you can use PubKey. PubKey is a new thing by Synonym. Cheers to my friend John Carvalho, to Miguel. So we need new solutions that will allow your digital life to be protected against the risk of centralized points. You have to adopt technology solutions like cloud-based encrypted tools for your communication, for your data storage, so you can maintain maximum flexibility, maximum security. Do not depend on trust on traditional institutions. That's the main idea. The gap between proactive and passive individuals is going to become bigger and bigger. And people who deliberately cultivate digital skills, people who understand jurisdictional arbitrage, people who embrace the technological change, they are the ones who will really get the benefit of all of this instead of following the conventional path. So, are you doing all of this? Do you have your digital assets, your financial assets well secured? And history shows us the price of wealth is vigilance. Thousands of years ago, the agricultural revolution was really changing human life. Hunter-gatherers became farmers. They had crops, they had livestock, okay? So people who didn't have that, they were like, whoa, over there are these people that have a lot of food. So this created incentives for violence, because before that, you didn't have stuff to steal. Now people with good crops, with good animals, they are now creating an incentive for violence, for theft. And because of that, warriors emerged, offering protection for the farmers to protect the harvest. And that created the feudal hierarchy. Now, we are experiencing a pretty similar shift, but your valuable assets are digital. Just like the ancient farmers, you need protection from cyber criminals, from government intervention. This is why you need self-custody. You have to make yourself less vulnerable. And in this world, your reputation is your greatest currency. A practical moral code is crucial. It is essential in the decentralized world. And virtues like trustworthiness, integrity, productivity, self-reliance, all of this becomes really important for you because now the traditional mechanism is becoming more weak. So what you have to do is to maintain and build your reputation, to be able to collaborate with people. Governments in this world, they're like service providers, so you have to check if they're doing a good job. And the information age reduces transaction costs dramatically. It offers entrepreneurial opportunities, and the economic rewards increasingly go to the people who genuinely create value rather than people who have good political connections. So what you need to do is to change your mindset and see your government as a service provider. You have to look at different jurisdictions based on what they are offering you. Is it good for you to stay there? Are you welcome there? Instead of just thinking about the tradition or nationalist ideas. Some people will say, okay, no, don't think like that. Government officials, they're like parasites. They are our masters. We citizens are like the slaves, and these government officials are just pretending to offer you a service, but actually they're using that narrative to make you like a slave and get taxes from you. Okay, that is understandable, but that story is not really going really deep. It is distracting you from practical actions that you can take. What can you do about that? You need to look at what can you do to increase your freedom and to reduce your exploitation. For example, you can choose where you live, where you work, which laws you want to accept. You can develop skills that help you to become independent. Your effort is better spent becoming stronger rather than just getting angry at the masters who are controlling you. And the idea of border is becoming obsolete. The world is yours. Cyberspace breaks geographic barriers. It creates new economic opportunities. Milton Friedman used to say this very clearly. Companies can locate anywhere. They can use resources from anywhere. They can sell products everywhere. It's different from the past. Now, information age rewards individuals who strategically position themselves in this borderless world. Are you taking advantage of this freedom? Are you learning languages? Are you learning new skills? Remember this, we are entering the information society. There's a profound technological revolution that is shattering the nation-state dominance, and this is creating a new meritocratic reality. The people who really study, people who invest in themselves, they will get big benefits. And this involves the decline of traditional institutions and the rise of the sovereign individual who's able to master new skills. The gap between proactive individuals and everybody else, people who remain passive, this is going to become really big. Your ability to understand these changes and adapt strategically will determine your future success. The returns on personal development and independent thinking have never been higher. They far exceed what is possible now in this world where geography is no longer constraining us differently from the industrial past. Now you have a choice. Are you going to adapt? Are you going to learn? Are you going to thrive? Or are you going to wait until it's too late? Your decision today shapes your quality of life for decades to come. You can start changing now by going to arata.se/diamond hands.